people in the Facebook groups I hear saying, I'm looking for a comfort food. What do you recommend? And the top recommendations that I've seen has been mac and cheese. In keto terms, Cauli and cheese, because we use cauliflower instead of macaroni noodles. Anyway, so I wanted some comfort food today for lunch, and I'm going to make my version, which is, there's a lot of versions, and there is no one version, so you just try all these different versions and see which ones you like and change it up every now and then, because this one is going to have hot dogs in it, and usually I do it with bacon in it, and if I'm really lazy I just do Cauli mac and cheese. So let's show you my version. The ingredients are simple: cauliflower, cheddar cheese, butter, and I'm going to add garlic in with the cauliflower when I cook it, so we're going to have that real nice garlicky flavor and some heavy cream. And of course the hot dogs. I did find a version that I like, that I've got it wrapped in a baggie. Sorry, I'll take it out because it's a little glary, but it's Applegate's, and it's additive free, and it's okay for the keto diet because it has no sugar. All right, and those are the ingredients. So I'm only going to use part of the cauliflower. I'm not going to use the whole bag. Depending on the amount of people you're feeding would depend on how much cauliflower you use and how much cheese you use, okay? Some of the bigger chunks I cut up into smaller pieces. So now I'm just going to throw that in the pan. I'm going to add a little bit of ghee. You can add butter. Just going to add a small amount in the pan. Basically, we're only going to cook this part of the way, so probably about 5 minutes, because the rest of this is going to be baked, but I want to partially cook this. All right. Another way you can do this, you could boil the cauliflower. In my case, if I'm doing that, I steam the vegetable. I don't just drop it in water and lose all the nutrients. So I'm going to let that cook for 5 minutes. While that's doing its cooking thing, I'm going to just take the hot dogs and slice them. I've got 2. I think that'll be plenty for this particular mac and cheese dish, because in the end it's all going to end up in this small dish. Okay, that's all cut up. Now I'm multitasking. You don't have to watch over this every minute, but it's a good idea to check it out every minute or so, my guess. Okay, we wait on that, and we wait. Okay, so part of this has browned. That's okay. But this is been cooking for 5 minutes, and now I'm going to set this aside and prepare the cheese sauce. And for that, I have a glass pan. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of the heavy cream into there. And I'm going to add 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. And I'm going to stir that up. Okay, so basically we just stir this till it's blended together, melted in together, and it's nice and creamy, a nice and creamy cheese sauce. So at this point we have a nice creamy cheese sauce. See that? All right. So I'm going to take that off the flame. And I almost forgot to put the garlic in here, so I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to move this over a little bit, and I'm going to drop the minced garlic in here. It's 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And now I'm going to blend all of this together. I'm going to add a pinch of Himalayan salt and stir that up again. Okay, now I can add the creamy sauce in here. Actually, I'm turning the flame off. And now I'm mixing. All right, I have not forgotten the hot dogs. The truth of it is I almost forgot the hot dogs. Okay, that is the simple truth. Okay, give it another stir. It's off the flame. We just want to mix it all together. What we're going to do is we're going to add it to that baking dish, and we're going to bake it at 400, 425, and then it's done. Because remember, the cauliflower is now cooked halfway, and it's the melted cheese is the melted cheese. So it's basically blending it all together, heating up the hot dogs and all that good stuff. So I'm going to bring this over to the baking dish, and I'm just going to put it in there. Now again, you could do this with bacon. I certainly have. I do it with bacon a lot, but I was in the mood for hot dogs. What can I say? Oh, you know what we can do that would make this even better? Let's add some cheese on top, okay? So I have extra, just put a little, that makes it a little more cheesy, doesn't it? So I'm just going to put a little bit on top, and a little bit more, and a little bit, no, I'm kidding. You don't want to overdo it. All right, that's what I have a tendency to do. Ta-da! Going in the oven. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not perfect. I'm just not. And in the case of this recipe, it called for 2 tablespoons of butter to go in the cheese sauce. And I forgot to put the butter in the cheese sauce. I'm sure it's going to taste just fine. But it is what it is. So this will be in the recipe, but it isn't in the recipe video because I forgot it. Okay, I know I've been a little forgetful today, but let's see how this tastes. I let it cool a little bit, and I should let you see what that looks like. Sorry. Looks good, doesn't it? Now, again, remember, you can add whatever you want. You could just have the cauliflower with the cheese on its own. You could add bacon, hot dogs. You could also add vegetables like broccoli or even asparagus or whatever kind of vegetables you might be in the mood to add to your Cauli mac and cheese. Let's see if I can take a bite of this without burning my mouth. You want it to have the consistency as if you're having mac and cheese. The noodles are very soft. So you want your cauliflower nice and cooked and soft. You know what? This cauliflower is cooked, but if it went 5 more minutes, it would be a little softer. I was afraid to overcook it. It's not supposed to be so runny underneath. When I stirred it up, it was fine, but there was a lot of the water that got underneath. That might have been because of the hot dogs. Not a big deal. If you still want to add the hot dogs, you just have to drain some of the water that accumulated underneath while it was baking. Doesn't do that normally. Doesn't accumulate all that water, moisture underneath. I'm just going to throw that in for another 5 minutes. Get that cauliflower a little mushier. Otherwise, taste is great. You've got your comfort food, and there's a lot of ways to cook this. This is one of them. So I hope you got something out of this. I'm going to eat it up.